What up, y'all? This is your girl Shaniqua T on the beat, and you are now tuning into the Spacious Podcast, where healing meets transparency and faith meets mental health. And y'all know why we're here, and if you don't know why you're here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe on all major platforms such as Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you share this episode with a friend, tell a family member, and a cousin. Anyway, now that we got the housekeeping rules out the way, we are continuing our series, Black Woman Healing. Have y'all been enjoying the series so far? Because I truly have. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Now, on today's episode, we have a very, very, very lovely guest, okay? And she goes by the name of Kiana. If you don't know her, you know her. If you're in the Jacksonville area, you probably done got your pictures taken by her. She's the woman behind the lens. But this time we bringing her in front of the lens. And if you've seen any of my lovely photos, she has been the photographer that's been taking this lovely face. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this author, this sweet and kind spirit on up here today. Kiana! Come on up here, girl. Tell people hey.
Hello, guys. Hi. I was like, oh my God. That was an introduction.
I gotta bring it in right. I gotta make you feel welcome. We are so excited to have you on today's podcast episode. Thank you so much for your willingness to be on here and share your story with the people. Let the people know who Kiana is. So tell the people, who is Kiana?
Well, I am a multitude of things. You know us. We'd be like multitude.
I know, right?
I am a photographer. So I have a brand that's called She Speaks Visuals, where I specialize in branding and lifestyle photography. So pretty much really just helping you make your brand pop. So, it's not enough just to have like headshots or just like that one set of photos. Like I'm going to help you build content. Mm-hmm. So I do that. I also wrote a book.
Yeah.
So, it's been a journey from writing the book to getting it out. The name of the title is called Life Can Be Pretty Messy. And that's basically where I just talk about my journey on healing. Sometimes I know for me personally, I felt like God had dealt me a deck of bad cards. And in reality, that pushed me towards my purpose. So I just talk about that, how to, get unstuck and get through.
Yes, come on, get unstuck and get through. And y'all make sure y'all check out her book. Where can they find your book?
Oh, see, yes, they can get my book on Amazon. Just type in Life Can Be Pretty Messy, or you can type in my name and it will pop up as well.
All right, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all stay connected. I'll be sure to drop a link in the description below so y'all can check that out and support your girl as she is an upcoming author. Okay, we talking bestseller out here.
Bestseller, New York
Times. I'm just going to put it out here right now. So we thank you so much once again for being here. So on today's episode, as y'all know, we always allow our guests to self-entitle their healing journey. So Kiana's title for her healing journey is Peace. Peace. I feel like I need to put that across the screen. Peace. Ooh, so simple. It's the simplicity behind it. But I know that it was a journey to get to that place of
very much
peace.
So.
That journey of peace ain't nothing to play with. We all trying to get there. So we just gonna tap into that. Now, before you got to this journey of peace, what words, if you had to say 3 words, you would utilize to describe your healing journey before getting to peace?
To describe like the actual journey of healing?
Yeah.
It was, I would say, wilderness. Because we all know that once we go into the wilderness, it gets real. Mm-hmm. I would also say chaotic, because you can't go in the wilderness and expect it to not be chaotic. Yes. Yeah. And then the last word I would describe would be impactful.
Mm,
Because your
okay.
healing journey is really going to give you, it's going to give you impact, whether you want it to or not, whether you get to whatever level of healing you're trying to reach, it's going to be impactful.
Yes. So we got wilderness, giving like the who that was in the wilderness. I'm reading about them right now.
Is it the Israel? There
Israelites,
you
yep,
go.
Israelites. You know, they was in the wilderness, wasn't even supposed to be up in there. Y'all go read the Old Testament. But anyway, they was in the wilderness for 40 years. And then also, um, we have chaotic, because listen, healing can get real messy, y'all. It can get real messy out here in these streets. And then also the last one we have is impactful, because at the end of the day, pain will lead you to purpose so that you can help
Period.
other people in their
Period.
journey. So that is all good words. So let's break that down. Let's go on a journey, all right? Let's go through a journey with these words.
Okay.
So when you say wilderness, give us some more context behind that, especially with your healing journey. Feel free to give examples if you feel led to, because this is a space about transparency. So,
Okay. So for wilderness, in relation to my healing journey, the first thing that comes to my mind is when I got married. So I do talk in my book about my marriage, and it wasn't God ordained. God did not tell me to marry that person. And so I literally went into a season in the wilderness. I did not talk to my parents. I did not have any of my friends, anything that I knew. I knew it no more. So I literally was in the wilderness figuring it out, encountering different people, and God did send people to really cover me in that season. But that's the main thing that comes to me. It's just that, because your girl was in the wilderness.
now, being that you had people that was covering you, was it challenging to kind of like listen to? Because I'm pretty sure they gave you like wise counsel and everything like that. Was it challenging to kind of like listen to what they were saying versus what you wanted to do?
It definitely was difficult to listen, because in that season I didn't really trust anybody. Um, it was maybe like one or two people who were really giving me advice, and everybody else I would tell them certain pieces. Like, you know how when you don't want to tell people what's really going on and you're only giving them the pieces, and when you do that, they can't really help you in the way that you need help because you're only giving them half of the truth. So there were a lot of people who were trying to help me, or who were trying to really give me wisdom, and they were really giving me improper wisdom because I couldn't even receive that or even relate to it or really apply it to my everyday life that I was dealing with while I was in that wilderness season.
Mm,
So the two people who did assist with giving me basically a lifeline in that season, it wasn't really like the wisdom they were giving me, but just like that support, like
mm,
that I'm here for you, let me
mm-hmm.
help you. But even then, that came to an end. So sometimes, even when you do have people that are covering you, if you're still not listening, if you're still not doing what you're supposed to be doing, what God has told you to do, then you're just on your own. So
Yeah, that is true, because it's, they at some point their time is up. Like they
mm-hmm.
gotta move on to the next. And if just going back to the good old Israelites again, like time and again, they had people that was coming to their rescue every time when they had a woe is me moment.
Right,
And they'll get rescued, and it's like they still went back and did what they wanted to do at the end of the day, and then they be right back where they started, but in deeper jacked up situations.
right.
So now when it came to, because it was like they can only provide you insights because did did that come from like the half truths that you was giving them, that it was just
Yeah,
like it wasn't impactful enough for you?
yeah, definitely the half truths. And then a lot of times if you are not being transparent, like even the half truth that you're giving doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So I would say the fact that I also wasn't as transparent, and I was one of those people, I was very prideful. So I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't know how to ask for help. And I just wanted to be the good person and just stay out the way. Oh, she the non-problem person. So.
Yeah, that'd be a whole thing in itself. Like learning, like that pride would have you real deal like backed up in a corner because you just wanna, especially when you come from being the person like I'm a good person. You know, I don't want to cause no issues. I don't want to, cause no drama or anything like that. Or just the simple fact, just coming from personal experience, like I don't want to be looked at as the bad person.
Right.
So, and that could cause a stumbling block, and it can also bring forth things of like codependency and stuff like that, because it's just like, like it comes from that place of like, oh, I don't want to cause any problems like that.
The problem has been caused.
Right. The problem has been caused.
You don't want to cause any problems.
You don't want to cause the problem, and you already causing problems, basically. So, that's a big part of it. So, being in that wilderness, I'm gonna kind of keep going ahead here, and then I tread back to how did you get to that place of learning how to trust. But we'll get there. So now let's get into the chaotic piece of it. Give us some examples of that chaotic part of your journey.
So for chaos, I think for me the chaos started once I left that marriage. So I also talk about this in my book. I went into what I call the whole phase. Y'all know what it is. We just gonna call it. And that was me leaving the wilderness, trying to fill a void.
Yes.
And so we all know that when we try to fill a void that is not to our purpose, it's not what God has told us to do, it caused what? Chaos. So in that, I was dating different people and it was just chaotic. I was in situations I never thought I would be in, talking to people I knew I was not supposed to be talking to. And then eventually I got pregnant. And so with that, I ended up terminating the pregnancy, and that just caused a whirlwind of chaos. So yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Y'all have had, we all done had at some point in our lives, we've had our little whole phase, we just gonna keep it above. It's real out here. Like, shoot, I done tried it too, y'all. And believe it or not, I done tried it too. Like we try to be the friend with the benefits, because this is gonna be my way of releasing my pain and showing like I done moved on with my life and all of this stuff. In the end, when it's just like those type of phases, it's more so like I'm trying to mask my pain, really.
Right. Definitely trying to mask a pain, trying to mask a feeling, kind of like doing everything but doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like when you used to be in school and they'd be like, you're doing everything but you're supposed to be doing. Do your work. You don't want to do work. So you just
don't want to do the work.
Let me go over here. Let me go over there. And
right.
You're here.
Right, because it's almost like, this, it's more easier to do this versus do that, because we don't want to always go through that the actual process, because it causes an in-depth look inside yourself, or even it brings up emotions that you basically try to run away from at the end of the day. So it's like, let me go ahead and park my car over here in this lane right here. We gonna stay right here. We not even gonna come up out of this. And then it's like when that phase type of mindset starts to settle in, a person can find themselves in a cycle.
Yep. Cycle, you're attracting the same person. I did the same person like 16 times, I'm trying to tell you. So
hey.
You stay stuck in a cycle trying to figure out what's going on, and for the life of you feel like you just can't get up. But God.
Thank Lord for the grace and mercy, because look at here, would have been looking real crazy out here in these streets. Still. So it's like even within those cycles, I think it's so important when you start to seeing like the same type of meeting the same person but with a different face. At some point, you gotta start examining, looking at yourself. At the end of the day,
Yep.
and a lot of times we don't want to take accountability because we're like, oh, like why does this keep happening to me? But it's like you have to start looking deep within to see, well, why is it that I keep running into these same type of people? Is this
Yep.
something in me that I'm not addressing or that I'm running away from? Because now this brings me up to the point. I don't even know how we got here, but if we look at culture today, I'm gonna do it. If we look at culture today, we have a lot of hot girl summers and things going on. You know, I'm in my at bad. I'm going against culture right now. I'm in my at bad type of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like that type of mentality is causing some type of, what's the word I want to, is it causing some type of negative influence on especially like young women that have dealt with, you know, certain things of like trauma in their past when they're just like functioning off of this type of mentality? Because if we look at society, it's easy to be influenced these days,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you got a device in your hand
Right.
that's showing the same thing over and over again.
Like the 50-50 debates.
I'm sick of it.
Um, I I do think that it does cause a negative influence, but I don't really think it's any different than we have like a cycle that comes around like every few years or so.
Yeah.
Just like in this season, you hear a lot of the hot girl summer or city girls down or hot boys, city boys.
Pretty boys up too.
Right. And the whole 50-50, and then now you have like different artists, like different things that are kind of coming out, different videos that are going viral, and just social media period. Like it's a place where people literally show their life or their life, and then they tell their opinions or their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it all can have a negative influence, honestly.
Yeah.
And even I have to make sure that I take a healthy break, because it really gives, like, to what you're saying about like hot girl summer, like it really does give like a false sense of reality.
Yeah.
Like you have like the Instagram models, like everybody's trying to look good, but those
Yeah.
people, they're getting paid to look good.
Good.
Like they have the partnerships, and then you have some people who are going broke to look good.
Hey.
They're not getting paid. And so it just, you really have to, like, social media period, especially in the era that we're in right now. I see like the last 5 years, probably going into 5 years in the future from now, like you just really have to take social media with a grain of salt, especially now that you got AI. Like AI, we've already had AI for years, but now it's
Yeah.
progressing to where the general public can use it. Like it's just, be careful. Be careful out here.
Yeah, be careful,
Don't
y'all.
be fooled.
Please don't. Because something key that you said was like they people are getting paid to look good.
Right.
And then you have real life where people, they ain't get paid to look good. They going broke looking good.
Right.
So it's like, what price do you want to take? Do you rather take the price of going through the actual healing process and not looking your best? Because let's be real, we're going through a healing process, and I probably said this before. It's like when you're going through a healing process, it is not pretty at all.
Not pretty at all.
You
It's not pretty. You won't necessarily be at your lowest. Like
yeah,
you don't have to be at your lowest, but you're also not at your best.
right.
And it's a very vulnerable moment, like that healing process. Very vulnerable, very open, like you're the judge to yourself. You have to be careful with that too.
Yeah, for
You have
sure.
to be careful with that too. You have to make sure you show yourself some compassion, especially in your healing journey, because nobody is perfect and you can't dwell in the past. There's nothing that you can change. Like for me, in my journey, there's nothing that I can change about what happened. All I can do is accept it and just let God use it to bring a light to people in their lives and the things that they are either going through or they may be going down that path, and God is allowing me to show them a light to go a different way.
That's good. That's good, because it can look very unpretty, but at the same time it's beautiful, because it's like you're shedding off things at the same time, and you get to see yourself in a different light. And I think that is, if I'm being honest right now and transparent, that's one of the phases that I'm like going through right now. I'm learning to acknowledge the parts that it may not be the best, but it's also a beautiful thing at the same time. Like I've been vocal about like my healing process. Some things I share, some things I don't, but through this process it looks very different for me, even down to what I post, like me posting myself more, but it's more showcasing me acknowledging like all parts of me.
Right.
Not just some parts of me, but all of it. Because in this healing journey, you have to learn how to accept yourself as the way, not just what people have shown you, but the way how God sees you at the end of the day. Like you have to learn how to accept. You gotta learn to accept, like, hey, I'm like the goofiest thing out there. So, but I'm learning to accept, like, that's a beautiful part of me. Like God made me that way for a reason. Even down to like the way I dress. I know, style, we talked about this. Style has always been such
but
a
girl, I see you, girl. I be seeing you now. I see him. Okay.
It's coming together. But I'm learning what my style is. I'm learning, like, I like the glamorous side of things. I like glamour. Go ahead, Kiana. I feel like you want to say something.
No, you were saying like just that. Like that's exactly what you were saying, because that for me, part of my healing journey, I ended up figuring out my style. And then I already look at people like little Ken dolls and Barbie dolls anyway. But that's another thing for another day. But even for me finding my personal style, like how I used to dress in the beginning before my healing journey, and now it's completely different. Like I remember I used to wear a whole bunch of bundles just because everybody else had the bundle. It was this one girl who I used to work with, and I used to love her hair. Like I loved her. She used to wear these long 30-inch bundles.
Woo!
30-inch bundles. And she had to be like 5'6", 5'7". So, it was long, but on her, it wasn't that long. So for me, I said, what I'm going to do? I'm about to get me some bundles. So I had my little bundles, a little 30-inch. And like literally, because I'm short, I'm like 5'3" for people who don't know me. And it literally came all the way down like past my butt. So I was in the wind. But when I found myself in my healing journey, I'm like, I like my hair natural. Like I like to be able to stop and go. I embrace that. I don't want to have to wear closure or flat on this or wrap it a certain way to have it done. I just like to be free. And so I love that you said like part of your healing journey now is like you're finding out what you like. Like you like that, you like the glamour, because you have people who, when you're going certain places, why is she always dressed up? Why you always look like that? Because I want to.
Yeah.
Because that's me.
That's me.
You do stuff because now that's you, and not because it's, oh, we're going to a glamorous event, so now I have to find a glamour outfit. No, honey, I will go into the coffee shop looking fabulous. Okay?
Yes. Now, y'all, that ain't all the time, y'all, because sometimes I do like me a little set, the way I could just be nice and comfortable. But that's
it's an
my
easy
thing. Yeah, it's an easy piece. Like, that's my thing. I love, thank you, God, for putting that in like me, because I feel that. Anyway. See, I play all day, y'all. But yeah, I love that. I love that. Now, with that, okay, you already answered that. So with that being said, let's get into the impactful piece. Let's get into that impactful. Tell us.
Okay. So I know I said like the first phase was like in the wilderness, and then coming like still anywhere that's coming out, it got real chaotic because I had made some like decisions and they had to be dealt with. And I always tell people, I know it's very taboo to talk about things like abortion, but it happens.
Yeah.
And it's very much so real life. It's not something that I am ashamed of, but it is something that I do talk about to make a difference to others who might be going down that same path. And so from there, it really just brought me closer to God. Like,
Yes.
just really making a change in myself, holding myself accountable. And that's where I really started to make, God started to make, I allowed God, I opened up my heart to allow him to make an impact in me so that I can be impactful to others. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the last piece. Look, the story.
Yeah, but they don't know, but we know the story, and I think that's such an amazing part of it, of like even just acknowledging that part of it, because that's something that we don't, I don't see that is talked about as much. Like a lot of times, even when it comes down to abortions and everything, we talk about the pieces where it's just like, oh, it's bad, but we don't really go through the process of what it actually takes the actual individual through, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not an easy decision to make
It's not.
from begin with. But when you have so many things coming at you from one side to the next, and you, especially when you're trying to hold up a persona like I'm a good person, like I don't want to bring bad to my family, or make them see me this way or that way, it can really cause like for you to be in a place where you just backed into a corner and you
Right.
have no other choice but to take that side of it. One day, y'all, I'll share my actual testimony about that, because there is more to say about that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful thing that you can acknowledge that and utilize it to help others. Because at the end of the day, when if I'm just being putting it out there, when we think about abortions, it's a bad thing, right? And then when you are a believer in Christ, that's looked at in the Bible as you are a murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then then we forget about the grace. We
Right.
forget about the forgiveness that comes after that. The forgiveness piece, and also forgiving yourself, and the repentance part of it.
I think those are like the last two that you said are like the most.
Yeah.
Forgiving yourself and then repenting and then just really knowing and standing in your forgiveness without shame. Like that in itself, that's a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. um and it takes time. It really takes time to work through that, especially when you are a believer. But I want to say to anybody that has dealt with this in their life, and maybe you not only done it one time but you did it a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
it's important that you go through that process of like forgiving yourself for it, and know that God still loves you and he can still utilize you and your story to help other people. Okay.
Amen.
Amen. I
Amen.
just want to let people know that.
Let the people know, girl. Let them know.
Because it's important. Like you are looking at two vessels, like two vessels. And feel free, y'all, if when the time comes, feel free to like just reach out if you have any questions regarding that, because we do need more community spaces that talks about
Yes.
stuff like this for sure.
Yes. And in Jacksonville, we do have a community here that if you've gone through an abortion, they do have a Bible study specified like just for that. And it's 13 weeks. It's pretty cool. Very different, very life-changing, and anybody that is interested in doing something like that, I would recommend that wholeheartedly.
Yes, yes. All right. So with that being said, with this process of going through the wilderness, going through the chaos, and
Mm-hmm.
then getting to this place of impact, using your pain for purpose, it's like now you're at this peaceful place. Describe this peace to us.
peace. It's honestly, it's an undeniable peace. Like, people ask me when they see me, they say I'm always smiling. Like, I feel like my aura like exudes peace. Like, I'm not mad about anything. I don't get easily upset, and that's because he is with me, and he has given me the knowledge to deal with any and everything. And that alone, to be able to stand in God, is to stand in peace. And it's almost like, what are the girls saying? The soft girl era.
Yeah. And that's I used to roll. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I used to roll my eyes at that when they first started to say that. But now it's like, okay, I see what y'all talking about.
I think because some people, when they're saying like soft girls, I hear a lot of people associate soft girl era with like feminine energy. And it's like, if you fall anything out of the feminine energy, then you're not in your soft girl era. But I would like to say that being with God, being in God,
hey,
Jesus, that equates to soft girl era. Really soft person era, like, period. Like, just that. Because I don't have to fight my battles. Like, God fights on my behalf. I don't have to worry about what weapons you got against me, because I've already put on my foot by the armor of God, and he already told me that the weapons will form, but they will not prosper. So that means whatever you have against me, it's not going to prosper. It's not going to happen. And even like last week, like, I had something happen where I changed jobs. So this is like my bye week. So I'm just, resting or whatever. Yeah. And I have a medicine that I have to take. And so, the whole thing you have to go through, like, with your different jobs, whatever. And you will have like the insurance. Sometimes it lapses. Luckily for me, it doesn't. And I found that out later because, yeah. But there was a moment where I started worrying. It was like, that is out of peace. Like, I started worrying about what was going to happen. Like, if I was going to be able to pay for this or pay for that. And like, God, he showed me like completely, like, I got you. I have it covered. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Like, y'all, I went to Publix to buy my medicine. The medicine was $115 because I wanted to get an extra dose. I wanted to get like an extra month. Yeah. And when I got there, I happened to find this coupon. I had a friend, she told me about the coupon, because you always have somebody, God always sends somebody to give you the message. Yeah. And so she told me about this coupon, and it wasn't that I didn't have the money to pay it, but I was like, I got insurance, I'm not paying that. Yeah. And so I went to the guy. I was like, can you take this coupon? Can you see if it worked? Because first I was being prideful. I didn't want to ask. So I stepped out of the room of peace because I was prideful and didn't want to ask for help. When you're in peace, do not be afraid to ask for help. That's part of God keeping the peace. You have to ask for help. Okay? And so when I asked the guy, I was like, hey, can you just check this code? I think it might be some. I don't know if it worked, but I just want to see it.
Yeah, just want to see what's going on.
He didn't say anything. Like, he really didn't. He was a guy. He really didn't talk a lot. And I was like, okay, he not saying nothing. Like, did it work? Did it not? And so he gave me my phone back. He still didn't say anything. So I was like, okay. I was like, is it still $115? And he was like, I gotta go recode it. So am I gonna pay or not?
Right.
He's given me the tools to make it away. So now, I'm splitting up between 3 different cards. I'm gonna make a way. Got to check into the savings, that whole mess or whatever. So he comes back and he scans it. He said, guess how much it is? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so it's some money off, like $60. Yeah. He said, no, look. And I looked, y'all.
What? It
was $0.
Come on.
I was so happy that I didn't have to pay for it. But the lesson in that was God was really showing me that no matter what, that he would provide, because I had the money to pay it. I just didn't want to pay it. And then I was going to procrastinate and wait until 2 or 3 days later when I would have more money coming in. Okay, I have it right now, but I'm scared to let this part go. So I'm gonna just wait till I have more coming in, and I'm gonna do that. God was like, he told me, he was like, no, go now. And so I just went. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll do this right here, and this right here. But God, he covered it all. I didn't have to use any of that, but it was my willingness to listen to him and to do what he told me to do and to ask for help and to just let him work it out that kept me in peace. Okay.
Woo!
Yeah.
But it was so many nuggets up in there. If y'all ain't catch it, you just rewind it. Go ahead and catch that, because for one, listen, to keep your peace, baby, you gotta know that God is your provider. And also, you can't allow things such as pride, procrastination to try to sneak in and steal your peace. You cannot, because it's easy for those things to come in. And even when I was because even today, I was just like, okay, God, you talking about peace, right, in the healing journey. So I was like, Lord, show me some peace. And then I had to backtrack. All right, hold on. Don't show me, because then, stuff start happening. So I was just like, give me some insights into peace. So I was trying to find like a scripture that really pinpointed peace. And I came across the scripture, and then I was in this coffee shop today. And it had like John 16:33 on there. And then when I was looking at my screen, it said John 16:33. And I was just like, all right, God, you be talking. So basically what that scripture says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. So even with you giving us that testimony that you just shared about last week, it's like you was exemplifying, in him you have peace, and in peace victory is your portion. So at the end of the day, victory was your portion, because you got that medicine for the free.
But the free, and it's not cheap. That medicine is not cheap. It's diabetic medicine. It's not cheap at all. So for those who know, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
Yeah. So that was like a blessing, such a blessing. A blessing, not even in disguise, but it's just like, hey, if you stay centered in him, do not allow worry to come and try to rob you, because it's easy for those things to try to come and creep in. But you gotta stop that thing at the door. Like, we're not even about to do this. It's important to acknowledge it and then combat it with actual truth. Because it really is, to have peace, it actually pulls on your faith and your trust in God at the same time. So that's so good. I'm so thankful that you shared that here today.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm still on high from it. Like, I never thought I would be one of those people, even though I probably got plenty of testimonies. Yeah. But you know how you hear like those testimonies?
Yeah, you were like, what?
So when it happened, I was like, I looked at that man, I said, I'm about to cry right here. I was about to give him ugly tears, but it was like 10 people in line, so I couldn't do that. But
yeah, you gotta try to keep it moving. You want an ugly cry.
But I literally bust out into tears, and not because it was free, but it was because God really showed that, like, he will provide. Like, I know you're worried, I told you to take rest. Part of me didn't want to take rest. I didn't want to take a week of rest. I wanted to work through my previous job and then just go straight into my new job. But I had a lot of trusted people, not just anybody. Get you some trusted people.
Trusted.
When you release the pride, you're able to have your trusted, I call them the council. So I have like a council of like certain people. They're very diverse people, different walks of life, but they love God. Emphasis on that. And they were like, why don't you just get some rest? And I was like, but I don't really, I'll be fine. And then like it happened in like threes, because I feel like 3 is like that's my special number. Yeah. So like the third person said, I said, okay, so maybe I do need to take like a week of rest. And it started off with maybe I'll take like 2 days, but I heard like God was like, just go ahead and take a week. So I took a week off, and I was so happy that I did. But I still got filled with worry, because I had some people like, well, maybe you should have worked through, maybe, just to make sure you had an extra check. And literally I had one of my friends saying, well, God is going to provide for you. Like, you already have everything in place. Like, just take the rest. And sure enough, when I took the rest, I had like a few bookings for like photo shoots, and then like ultimately everything was covered.
There
So
it is. There it is. Now the
nothing
other
happened.
folks, they had to go to the side. Like you got to be mindful to filter it out. Trusted people that is
Right,
important.
trusted. That's why I had to say trusted people, not your one friend who just she is the risk taker, not the risk taker. Don't talk to the risk taker, okay? Because that person they gonna take a risk at a drop of a dime. It's gonna be very impulsive. You're not even gonna know.
Right. Yeah, we gotta be mindful of that impulsive thinking. And that's so interesting because I even remember like when I was in my job transition a couple of months ago, and I was about to do the same thing. I was just gonna be like, all right, I'm a hop skip over to the other job and not take no actual rest. And then one of my supervisors, she was just like, you're not gonna take a week off, take a week off, like just rest in between. I was like, huh. Maybe maybe I should do that. And it just reminds me how much a lot of times we can be so caught up in a works mentality
Right.
that we don't know how to rest. And that's such an important thing, even in the healing process. You got to learn how to rest. You can't be the one that's trying to do, I'm gonna just work my, because that's, y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you, like that's why I messed up at. I be trying to work my way through healing,
That's
not
good.
understanding that in order for, God, he takes his time with us. And with him taking our time with us, it's like it's going to be times where he's going to, all right, I need you to do this. But there are going to be times where it's just like, I need you to sit down and rest. Let me do this.
Rest. And even this week, it's funny that, well, before I go into like this week, but just to add on to what you said, like there was a point where I used to read so many self-help books.
Yes.
So many self-help books, so many different books. And while those books are enlightening, those books help, sometimes it gives you information that, one, God has not even given you permission to go through yet. So now you're over here projecting instead of waiting till God gives you the go to read that book, and now it's able to permeate, and then you're able to radiate it out. And so that's like a big thing, because a lot of people will try to work through it and just rest. Like there's nothing else extra that you need to do. Like just peace.
Just rest.
Soft girl era.
Yes, softness. This is song. It's because it's another podcast. It's called Soft what Living. I don't know. I forgot. But anyway, I forgot what it was called. But it's a song that they have. Their theme song is called "It's a Song." It's the soft light. Soft light.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I don't. I feel like I've heard. Hold on, I think I know what you're talking about. Are they twins?
I didn't know they was twins, but they do.
Oh, wait, no, they're not twins. I think they're sisters.
Yeah,
like 1 to 2 years apart.
Yeah, it's called Soft Life Through Christ. There it
is. There you go. Yeah,
they're pretty. Only I ain't watched that many of their episodes, but I like their theme song though, because it's like it's so no shade, but it's like I really like the song though, because it's so relevant. Like to be, we talk about this soft life era all the time. To be soft is really learning how to rest in God, like just resting in Him.
That's good.
I felt that, y'all. So, did you get into the part where you talked about this week?
Oh, even this week, this week, I had like a whole bunch of things planned. I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on my website. I'm gonna redo my photography website. I'm gonna work on these 2 like books I'm working on now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I have done nothing but rested. I literally have done anything, and I think prior to me taking this break, it had been a while, I think since my birthday, which was in February, that I had actually took a break. And even then, how many people know that even when you take a vacation on your birthday, it's not really vacation, because you got activities planned from the time you leave your job at 5 o'clock into the time you clock back in 8 o'clock, whenever, a week later, 2 weeks later, whenever you're booked and busy, literally. So even then, like this was like the first time that I've had a rest, and at first I felt like a little guilty. Like I did like a few activities. They had something for like Juneteenth or whatever. I went there, but other than that, I rested. And I think today was the first day that I was really filled. God started filling me up with different ideas to go into the things that I have. And it's Thursday going into Friday. So
Mm.
took a few days.
Yep, it took a few days, but that's such a major key because once again, when you're resting, it's like we be so adamant sometimes about, oh, I gotta do this, like, oh, I gotta do that. Oh, well, what about this? What I did, and it's like when you allow yourself to rest, like your mind can be refreshed, and then it's like you're in tune, even with the Holy Spirit and what God wants you to do when it comes to those business ventures. And that's something that I'm even taking heed to for myself, and just going through a whole process with the business that I have as well. It's like, all right, Lord, all right, I see what you're trying to do over here now, but it's like I'm not allowing myself to like rush through the process because I'm trying to get to a place of like success and all this stuff, because it's easy to get caught up in like what the world calls success and what you're
The
supposed
race,
to do. Yeah, the race, like
like
getting
a
caught
rat
up.
race to the top.
I'm trying to tell you, trying to race to the top. And it's like, okay, as easy as hard as you trying to race yourself to the top, it's easy for you to fall back down because you
Right.
don't have the proper tools or the fundamental that you need to sustain in that place. And if we call ourselves Christ-centered, then you should already know that I'm already successful.
Mm-hmm.
But I just need the tools to get there. But
Right.
you have to be patient enough to even receive those tools that you need. So that's a big part of it too. And heal too, because sometimes we be wanting to get to a certain level, but if we haven't healed from some wounds that we went through, it's like
It's gonna come crashing down.
come crashing down. And how you gonna help other people when
It's
you
gonna,
ain't heal your
it's
own
gonna
wounds?
be Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. You're
Abort,
gonna go
abort.
missing. They're gonna be like, where did such and such go? She's been missing.
Been missing, been gone. You had to spin the block. So this is so amazing. So just as we start to wrap up here, what are some, when it comes to like peace and sustaining that peace, what are some tips of tools or wise counsel that you want to provide to our audience when it comes to sustaining that peace or getting
Okay. My first tool would be to mind your business.
Ooh, mind your business.
And my friends who know me, they know that I am the queen of minding my business. I hear a lot. One of the way that God has wired me, a lot of people of different walks of life, they trust me. I know a lot. It's like a term that people use and I don't even know, but I mind my business. People trust me. They know that I'm going to mind my business. I'm not judgmental, and I focus on me. And when you're minding your business, meaning you're minding what's going on in your household, you're minding your career path. Don't focus on what the other people at work are doing and who got what, who getting paid what. By that person linked up with that person. Even in your dating life, like don't
Mind
worry
your business.
about why this person is dating this person. If you don't see the ring, mind your business. Like I can't stress it enough. A lot of times in this world, in this era, like I know we were talking about social media and really how it can be a negative influence on us now. Like people don't mind their business. So now we have the 50-50 conversation. Now we have the hot girl summer. You're trying to tell me how to have a hot girl summer. And now you over here trying to combat the hot girl summer with a saved girl summer. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Like, how about you just no social media summer? Let's try that. So I would say minding your business, it lessens the stress levels. It lessens gossip, honestly, because that's like a big thing. And even people, I know I have become a victim of gossip, even when I don't want to be. And people think that people who like gossip is just like this malicious thing, but it can seem so innocent. Oh, I'm just giving my opinion. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
I would say mind your business, because when you mind your business, that's level one for being at peace. Minding your business is refusing to give people unsolicited advice. If they didn't ask you, don't tell them. A lot of times when people are going through something, they want a listening ear. They don't want you to tell them what you can do. Like I have a friend who she will literally try to point out, use every moment as a chance to point out a point that she was trying to make about something that somebody should do better in their life. And you really have to not do that. Like even me, I used to do that to a certain extent, and I had to learn not to do that. And when I learned personally, I learned not to give unsolicited advice. My life got better. I was able to get along with people. People come to you because they know you're not going to try to create a solution. Everybody doesn't want a solution. Sometimes it needs you to be the supporting role. Like, you know, in IT, you got the problem solvers, you got the risk analysts, you got the support role, and then you got help desk. I didn't come to the help desk. I need you to be the support role. And in the back, typing yes on each clicker. Okay, that's what I need you to do. Okay. The next thing I would say is really just making sure that you're grounded in God. I know for me, that is the main reason that I'm able to be at peace. I put on my full body armor of God every day. And when I don't, I can tell a difference. I used to deal with a lot of anxiety that you're putting your full body armor of God on. And with that, you will always be at peace. Now, it ain't always easy. You know, you have your own journey with that because it took me a lot to get to this point. But I would definitely say putting on my full body armor of God every day has really helped me, and really just burying myself in his word, making sure that as much as I am taking a piece of the world, I am taking even more of him. You know.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yep. Well, y'all heard it. Y'all know what y'all got the tips and tools now. Each one, there's a theme going on here. You gotta, stay in God, and you'll have your peace as you go through this healing process. Because it is definitely necessary. Don't try to avoid the process. Just you take it from me. Just go through the process. It's beautiful. It may get a little ugly sometimes, but it's okay because you learn new and exciting things about yourself and all that jazz. So, Kiana, let the people know how they can stay connected with you.
You guys can stay connected with me on Facebook. My name is Kiana Shackelford. The last name is very unique, so you will not forget it. So just type in Shackelford and that should pop up. I also have Instagram. So I have my photography Instagram, which is She Speaks Visuals. So if you have any photography needs, or you just want a pretty lit photographer, you know, who's at peace, just come holler at me. And then I also have my my personal Instagram where I do give tips. I talk about life, and I do just share like my everyday journey to inspire and fuel people. That's The Simple Life with Key. And then as we mentioned before, you can get my book on Amazon. The title of it is called Life Can Be Pretty Messy, A Journey on Healing. And I enjoy chatting with you guys.
Yes, of course. We enjoyed having you on here today. Thank you so much for being on here. We love you. We love you. And as always, y'all, show yourself grace on this life journey, okay? And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share with a friend. Let a friend know. Send it to a family member because, we all need help on this healing journey. And as always, y'all, show yourself grace. And this is a message from your girl, Shaniqua T. We out.